Oh, you're tight with the CEO? That's funny, I am too. My father founded this company 25 years ago and hired me as a junior analyst 2 years back. I never mention who my dad is to my coworkers because people either become insufferably fake or assume I'm a nepo baby who doesn't work. It's just easier to stay under the radar and do my job. Last December was the first time I attended the company gala. I almost bailed, but my dad mentioned that morning how much he'd love to see me there, and I could tell it meant a lot to him. I arrived when the cocktails started, an hour before the formal dinner. My plan was to grab a drink, hide in the shadows for 60 minutes, and make a quiet exit. The bar was already swarmed. I ordered a gin and tonic, and this guy standing next to me says, "You probably recognize me, but I'm Julian, and I head up the entire procurement division." He said it like he was awarding me a medal. I introduced myself simply and tried to pivot away, but he trailed me. He began reciting every successful deal he'd ever closed and insisted the firm would stop breathing without him. I just nodded because I'm terrible at cutting people off. While he was gesturing wildly, he splashed his drink onto my blazer. Then he splashed a second one on my other sleeve and just chuckled. He leaned in, smelling like a brewery, and whispered, "I'm also incredibly close with the president. We're practically family at this point." That caught my attention, considering the president is my father, and I had never heard Julian's name in my life. My dad vents about problematic staff at the dinner table all the time. "Oh, really? You know his family well?" I asked. "Oh, definitely," he lied. "His kids are great. We've had dinner at their place a few times." I knew he was full of it right then. My sister and I have never shared a meal with any of my dad's employees. He keeps a strict wall between work and home, but Julian was wasted, so I didn't press him. Then he looked past me and said, "I see some actually influential people I need to network with. No offense." He walked off, leaving me standing there smelling like cheap vodka with soaking wet sleeves. I was ready to bolt, but I was so irritated I decided to stay. This guy spent 30 minutes being a condescending jerk, then dumped me like I was a nobody. I watched Julian get louder and more obnoxious as the night went on. He kept floating from group to group, telling everyone how he was the boss's right-hand man. Near the end of the night, my mom messaged me saying my sister was out front to pick them up. I saw Julian heading toward the VIP area where my parents were standing with the board members. I walked over and stood right behind my dad. Julian was mid-sentence, telling some tall tale about a contract he'd supposedly rescued. When he saw me, he shot me this annoyed look like I was some low-level staffer trying to brown nose. My dad turned to grab his scarf and saw me. His face lit up and he pulled me into a huge hug. "There you are. Your sister just messaged. She's at the curb." My mom asked if I'd enjoyed the evening, and my dad asked if I needed a lift home. I told them, "No, I brought my own car." Julian's face went from flush red to a ghostly gray. He stared at me like he'd just seen a glitch in the Matrix. My dad turned back to him. "Sorry, Julian. What were you saying about the supply chain issues?" Julian stammered something incoherent and said he had to leave immediately. He practically sprinted for the fire exit. My dad asked what his problem was. I just said Julian seemed like he'd had a bit too much to drink. I didn't want to get the guy sacked over being a blowhard. The next week at the office was pure comedy. Monday morning, Julian saw me in the corridor and literally did a 180-degree turn. Wednesday, I walked into the kitchen and he snatched his food out of the microwave while it was still frozen and bolted. This went on for 2 months. He completely stopped bragging around the office, and for the first time in his life, he was actually quiet.